that this is too much power for this use, unless you have video tabs and such, but I don't have these. So you will be perfectly fine with this, probably for the whole day. And when this is in standby mode, when running it depends on the camera and speed, but typically it consumes something like 1 amp, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. From 0.7 amps to 1.5 amps, I think, typically, and when it's in standby it consumes about 50 milliamps. When 1 LED is on, and 55 and 2 LEDs are on. So you can basically, you could just leave it like this and come back next week, and you will still have power left in the battery. So it's a bit of a waste to use this large battery. I just want to use this when I get the data working. Please. Yes, they have one of these still in stock in the store, so I'm just going to ask them if they check it first, and if it works, then send it to me. They will get this back. So I will make a better cable, but sometime later, not yet, because I just want to get filming. Can I see anything? And no, it's difficult with the GoPro. So these cameras have this manual shutter parking. There's a roll which liaises with this, so you can park the shutter with it. Can we see something? Maybe. No. Something little, yeah. But you can measure it, because this motor is pretty cheap, affordable. It doesn't have extra features, it doesn't have shutter parking or anything cool extra, so it's affordable. And you have this, so you don't need to inch the motor to find the correct viewing position. You can just push it like this, and then it centers the shutter. So I think this is pretty great, actually, especially when I get this. I can just take the big battery off and so on. So it would look like this. This is super cool. I just made a test holder. The motor, these M4 screw holes, which are used to mount the front panel. I made the modeled the motor body so that the holes go straight through, and they have threads in full length of the holes, so one can now install all kinds of stuff on the other side, as long as this mounting system to the camera is strong enough. The ACL has those tiny little screws, 4 of those tiny little screws holding the mounting blade to the camera body, so ACL is not that strong, but this Kinor has stronger bolts, so I'm confident to mount batteries like this directly to the motor body holes, if you can somehow to get the screw spacing etc. correct. This print warped a little making it, so I just don't have time to make new one, and it kind of works. So the dimensions were exactly correct, so I have to move the plate to the side, and it's mounted only with 2 screws. I wanted to use 4, but I need to offset this holding system a little. The batteries seem to be about this wide. Let's see, they are exactly the same. Exactly the same wide, so I just made a small mistake when measuring the placements. 1 centimeter mistake, maybe. Yeah. About so 1.2, 1.3. Yeah. That's a lot when making metal parts, but this 3D printed, it takes time to print, but you can just make new one if you have time to print it. If you can leave it printing overnight, then why not make new one whenever you need to. So you can actually, when comparing to the small battery, you can see how small the motor itself is. So normal V-mount battery is pretty large sized compared to the motor, and these mini V-mount batteries are close to the same size. So this is really compact. It's difficult to show in the pictures how compact it is. It just looks like pretty absurd when mounted to the Kinor, because the original motor is like this sized. About. So this is super small. But because the D-tap doesn't work on this one, it is the same. I would have to show you how neat the system was with it, but we don't have it, so we are using this. And we could film for the whole week with this if I just had enough film and time, which I don't. But yeah. But just for you to know that this consumes very little power when in standby mode, so if you have any kind of battery, just even a little one, you can just leave this, so in standby you don't have to switch it off all the time, unless you are transporting it and want to protect it from accidentally switching on. But this is pretty great setup for even with the last battery for the stuff I'm going to use this for. And I mentioned in the previous videos that this is made so that you can hear from the camera sound. 16 FPS is a bit unstable with that magazine. You can, because every reset sounds different than the previous one, so you can circle this without looking. And if you know which preset you have now, for example you have 48 and you want to get to 24, so to exit 25, 50, 33, 16 and then 24. So you can just So I will need to quickly like this without looking, if you remember the presets. So that's shot another round of the scratch film, and then I'm going to load up real film roll. This. So, and then going outside and filming something.